So, just on a side note, circumcision was not the only thing that had taken place. Both both of these people, the wife and the husband, had also experienced a name change. Abram was now Abraham, and Sarai became Sarah. And God did this by inserting the letter He into the word Avram to make Avraham. And he also changed the letter Yud that came at the end of Sarai's name to a He. So Sarai became Sarah. It didn't significantly change the meaning of her name. The meaning of her name remained the same, except that it was no longer in the possessive form. Sarai is possessive, as in my princess, whereas Sarah now simply meant princess. All right, so going on, we have this encounter, and it's an amazing encounter. We have the presence of the Lord showing up by the terebinths of Mamre, and here's Abraham on the third day of his circumcision, sitting in the doorway of his tent in the heat of the day. We can take that to mean that perhaps it was approaching noon, high noon, and he's sitting there and he's in pain because it is the third day. And the presence of the Lord showed up. Now, this was unlike any visitation that Abram had, Avraham had previously. This one was different because the Lord just showed up. The presence of the Lord showed up. The Lord appeared to him, and the Lord said nothing. He didn't say anything. And Abram, perhaps he was waiting for the Lord to say something, because usually the Lord would say something whenever he appeared, and then Abram would respond. But this time, the Lord did not say anything. And so they're there. We don't know. It could have been it could have been minutes. It could have been quite a while, or it could have been mere moments before uh, the three men showed up. But he saw these three men, and even though he was in pain, he got up and he begged them. He prostrated himself and said, "Please come to my tent. Come experience, enjoy some refreshments before you continue on with your journey." And he kind of made them feel like they were doing him a favor by coming and enjoying his hospitality. That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. But keep note, the presence of the Lord was still there, still hovering in whatever form. The presence of the Lord was still there, and the Lord was still saying nothing. So these three men agreed to come and enjoy his hospitality, and he got all excited, and he prepared. He got food prepared for them, and this could have taken a few hours. I don't know. I mean, it's not like he could go to his refrigerator and pull out a steak, and you know they had to kill the steak first, and they had to prepare it in a special way, so that he's not feeding his guests meat with the blood in it. And so they had to go through this special preparation. So this took a little while, and the presence of the Lord was still there, and the Lord was still saying nothing. The Lord still said nothing. And then after these men had eaten, one of them, that scripture distinguished between when the angels, the man who later on we discover was an angel, um, and when the Lord spoke, there was a distinction, because it says one of them said, well, it says all of them, like a collectively, they asked for her, they asked for Sarah, where is she? And then when he responded, one of them said, "I will return to you next year, and your wife Sarah shall have a son." And of course, she's listening in there inside the tent, and she's like, right, I'm going to have joy in my old age. And my husband, he's so old. So you can imagine right now that at this point in time, the two of them weren't even having conjugal. They weren't doing the acts of matrimony. I don't think they were living together, having a sexual relations anymore. They probably felt they were too old, and probably it showed up in their bodies. Things had deteriorated in their bodies. And she's like, oh, wow. She'd stopped seeing her period. I mean, she was 89 years old already, and he was 99 years old, you know? And and then we have her laughing to herself. And this is to show why the Lord spoke up, because angels can't read your mind. Angels are not omnipresent.